All right, so today we are going to be looking at some offensive basketball plays, some of my favorite offensive basketball plays that result in easy baskets. So, whether it's a wide open layup or an outside jump shot or multiple options, these are quick hitters with multiple options and easy baskets. All right, so this first basketball play is named four low. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have four players lined up low, right, near the basket, near the baseline. And we're going to have our point guard up top with the basketball, number one. Okay, so we're going to give the basketball here to number one. Okay, we can even center number one a little bit more. Let's have them a little bit more close toward the center. Okay, so what's going to happen first is number five, our post player, our big, is going to come set a screen here for number one. Okay, so number five is coming to set that screen for number one. So number one is going to come off of that screen. And as that is happening, number four is going to come up and set a back screen and screen the screener. So they're going to set a screen here for number five, right? Number five is going to come off of that screen. And we want number one, our point guard, to hit number five nice and hard for a wide open layup. Okay, that's what we want. More often than not, we're actually going to get that option. But let's just say that we don't. Okay, so number one's going to continue cutting, right? They're just going to keep filling. Now, as that's happening, number four is going to continue nice and wide. Number three is actually going to sprint up here and curl, right? We're going to eventually try to hit them for a three-point shot. So we want them to be, someone who can shoot the basketball, right? Our three or, our shooting guard, but that's just a backup option. And then number two is going to be sprinting as well. Number four is then going to set a screen on number two's way up, right? So number two is getting hit by number four right there. And then we have an option for another shooter in number two. So our options here were number five, right, when they got screened on by number four, number three, when they sprinted and curled, and number two, when they curled after that last screen by number four. So basically everyone here is an option except for number four. And number four, they're doing a lot of the work here. So you want to have number four to be, an athletic player or a player that you can trust to get things done. The play that we are going to look at here is called Zona Quick. And what we are going to look at is an opportunity for an open layup or a three-point shot. Okay, so we're going to start by lining up in the same type of way that you would line up for an Iverson type of play. This is not really an Iverson play, but we're lining up in that straight line, right? All players at the elbow or above. So we're lining up in that full straight line. Now, the first thing that we want in this play is to get the ball right here to number two, our far right wing, right? We want to get them the ball open, right? So they're going to have to cut, potentially do some maneuvering, maybe a little V cut or something like that. Do something to get open. We want to get the ball to this wing. Okay, now the first thing that's going to happen here is after number one passes, they're going to cut through the middle. Okay, so as they're cutting down here, we're probably going to have number four step in and set that screen for number one. So number one can cut all the way to the elbow. Now, that is kind of a bit of a decoy here. It's not really our main part of the play. Now, if we can get the ball wide open here for a little lob or something like that, that's great. We'll take it, but that's really not what we're looking for in this situation. Number one is going to continue filling to the opposite side of the floor. Now, what's going to happen right now then is number five is going to come set a cross screen here at the other elbow for number four. Number four is going to curl tight, and that is where we're going to see our wide open opportunity for a layup. We're going to have number four receive that basketball for a wide open layup. Right? It happens pretty much every time. Now, for some reason, if it doesn't happen and we can't get number four the basketball, that's okay. What we'll then have is number four continue to fill the opposite side of the floor, and then we'll get some stagger screens being set right here for number one. Number one will curl. Number five will come in and set that second screen for number one, and number one will curl to the three-point line for an outside three-point shot. So you have multiple opportunities here, multiple options. We have number four for that first initial layup, and then we get number one receiving the ball back potentially here for a three-point shot. Now, this play results in a quick and easy layup. Okay, we're going to start in the horns. Now, I know it doesn't really look like we're going to be in the horns right now by looking at this play and the way we're set up, but you will soon see that it does result in a horn. So let's give our basketball here to the point guard and understand exactly what is going on. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do here is have our five pop out to the three-point line. Okay, we want to kind of space the floor a little bit and get our five outside the three. Okay, outside the three-point line. Then what's going to happen is our four is going to curl up here into this horn spot on the elbow. So our 4 is quickly curling to about right here, and then they're going to seal, they're going to post up at the elbow. Okay, so we're going to, as that's happening, pass the ball into number 4. Now we want to, as a team, make it look like we are going in this direction right now. Everything we want to make it look like we're going in this direction, okay? So what's going to happen is our 5 is going to start coming down here to screen for number 2, and our point guard, our number 1, is going to follow suit. And they're going to set a double stagger screen, or a stagger screen rather, right here for number 2. Now, this is our first part of our drill, and it's important to note, number 4 here, the person at the elbow should be facing these players, right? They should be making it look like, it's going in this direction right now. So we set that first screen here on number 2, right? And then, we're also going to have number 2 curl, and again, we're going to set that stagger screen right here. But as that's happening, we're actually going to have number 3 here backdoor to the basket. So everybody's facing in this direction, right? The defense is anticipating that, things are going up here. We have number 3 kind of fake that they're going to curl up as well, and then they're going to backdoor. But the reason that this is going to work is that there's no help down here, right? If we're playing in a man-to-man, there's absolutely no help down there. So even if number 3 gets a little bit of an advantage, right, they're going to get a wide open layup. So number 3 is going to fake. They're coming up here. They're going to backdoor. Number 4 is going to actually turn around then and pass the ball into number 3, and number 3 is going to get a wide open layup. Now, in the event that number 3 doesn't get that wide open layup, you still have, or doesn't get, a lane to get the ball in at all, you still have number 2 here coming off of those stagger screens. So you can feed the ball into number 2 for an outside shot, or try running a DHO over there to number 2. But that's just a backup option. You're almost always going to have this number 3 wide open on a backdoor cut, which is going to result in an easy layup. Okay, so to set up the Cyclone, we want to get our players to line up in a box type of setting around the key. So as we can see here, right, we have, about a square root of players, around the key, right? So we have a player here at the elbow, player here at the elbow, and 2 players near the net. So, a full square, around the key. Okay, we're also going to have our point guard, above the 3-point line. The key to this one is we want to have our point guard on the side of the floor, right? We don't want to have our point guard right here in the middle. We want to have our point guard on the side of the floor. Now, how you start this, if you want to start the play with your point guard here and then bring them to the side of the floor with the basketball, that's fine as well. But, either way, we just want to get our point guard here on the side of the floor. So maybe let's say, for the sake of drawing this out, that they'll start in the middle, right? And then we'll move them over to the side of the floor. Now, the key to this play is we want to get a wide open layup. For one of our wing players, right here we have it as the 4. The 4 player is going to be the one receiving the wide open layup. So you want to put the person receiving the layup in this spot that number 4 is in. But, if you have a wing player or maybe a power forward that you trust to score around the rim, that would be a good player to put in this particular position. Now, we want to have a shooter down here in this number 2 spot. So somebody who you trust to shoot the basketball, right? Because, we want a lot of focus on that particular player, right? We want the defense to chase that player through screens, right? So we want the focus to be on number 2. So you should put one of your shooters or one of your stronger shooters in this number 2 spot. Okay, so what is going to happen to start? Number 2 is going to come over here and set a screen for number 3. Okay, so number 2 is coming over and setting that screen. So number 3 is coming off the screen, and number 1 is going to feed the ball over to number 3. So number 3 is receiving that basketball. Now, what's going to happen immediately after that is number 2 is going to come up here and set a screen for number 4. Okay, number 4 is coming off that screen nice and tight to the basket. They're going to receive a pass here from number 3, and they're going to get a wide open layup to the basket. Now, there are a few things that you can do to make this easier, right? If you want to have number 5 kind of pop outside the 3-point line once that screen action is taking place, I don't think there's any, negative side to that as well. We can bring that defender outside the 3-point line. If you do have, a post player, a big, a 5 player, I, probably wouldn't recommend putting them on the floor for this. I'd probably recommend more of a small ball type of, team on the floor for this so that, the other team will match and there's not necessarily a lot of tall or great defenders around the rim on the floor. But that's neither here or there. That's not the point of the offensive play, obviously. So let's kind of look at it again. And again, we want to have number 2 here, who is going to be our shooter that we kind of want people to chase around the floor, right? And number 1 is our point guard. So it starts off again. We have that screen being set here for number 3, right? Number 3 is coming off that screen. Which way they come off the screen doesn't really matter too much, right? We're going to feed them the basketball. Now let's say they get it maybe inside the 3-point line a little bit. And if number 1 needs to dribble, a little bit closer to get the ball to number 3, that's okay as well. Obviously, we're just kind of drawing it out here. Right, and then, like I said, number 2 is going to set that screen here for number 4. Again, if you want to do this outside the key a little bit, that's okay too. All right, but let's just say it happens at the elbow. Maybe we can have number 5 pop to create some extra room there, and then we're going to have a wide open layup here for number 2. So like I said, this play, results in a wide open layup. It's one of my favorite plays of all time. I've loved using it. I've used it with teams as young as 5th grade to all the way up into high school teams as well. It's not something you want to run over and over and over again because eventually teams will catch on. But if you want to have a heavy hitter, maybe 1 or 2 times per game that will result in a wide open layup, this is a great one for that. Great play for that. So let's take a look at, a team running this in action so we can kind of visualize it better to add it to our playbook. Let's take a look here at the Golden State Warriors running this play in action. Now, we have a couple clips here. Shout out to Basketball Minds on YouTube for providing these clips online. But we'll watch a few different scenarios now of the Golden State Warriors running this play. And let's start with this first one here. So as we can see, we have the ball on the left side of the floor, and then we're set up in our square. We already have this switch happening down at the edge of the baseline to receive the ball on the left side. So let's take a quick look at that. Right, we have that first pass here. It's received on the left side. And as you can see, we already have Steph Curry setting that screen for what appears to be Draymond Green. Draymond is coming off that screen. He's getting that wide open layup, right? I'm not 100% sure who that was. I believe it was Draymond, but could have been somebody else. Right, let's take a look at it again. I think this one comes from an inbound. So Golden State gets the ball inbounds. Looks like that's Kevin Durant there. So Kevin Durant is moving toward the left side of the floor. We can see that. Right, and we had that first screen being set. Right, we received the ball there, Klay Thompson, and we have Steph Curry setting that screen on Gobert, which again appears to be Draymond Green, that power forward, receiving the basketball for the layup. Now let's take a look at it one more time. Ball is on the left side. Steph Curry and Klay just appear to switch or screen. Steph Curry's right here setting that screen for, again, what appears to be Draymond. They love to run this for Draymond, it seems like. And again, that opens up that wide open layup. So we see Golden State, they run this frequently, right? Golden State is a team that loves to shoot 3-point shots. We get that. They love to shoot threes, but, they also see, many opportunities here for wide open, easy layups, which, you can never go wrong with at the end of the day.